So we have some really interesting questions for this edition. I think you'll like them. Richard does not know what the questions are beforehand this time. So great. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. And we're going to start. This is, I say, more of a kind of a practical question. We do get a lot of interest about the pendants whenever we post about pendants on social media. And we had a question come in from a lady on Instagram. Her name is Maggie, and she says, "Thank you for your work, Richard and team. My question is the crystal." She says, "My question is, the crystal in my pendant broke. It fell. There's still some crystal left. I'm assuming the pendant still works. Is this correct?"
Yes, sorry about that. It has happened occasionally that the crystal is broken or fallen out. It has nothing to do with the power of the pendant. The pendant is not dependent on the material that it's made out of. It'll work whether it's wood or metals, it's gold, it's silver, the crystal. It's a pretty design, and that's why I made it that way, because it's attractive and people love wearing it. But that's not what makes it work. What makes it work is that we meditate on it and we infuse it with energy and intention. And if you want to understand the technology of the meditation or how we actually go about it, I've written about it extensively in my book, The Secret Nature of Matter, and how I came up with these discoveries. It wasn't arbitrary at all. I ran about 58 experiments to explore the intersection of matter and consciousness. And I would check to see whether an experiment would cause a person to spontaneously align their hips or not. So if the hips were like this, and I boiled water and I let the water cool and I tested the water, it would still work. But the water that evaporated on the lid of the pot and condensed again into water didn't work. So that's how I determined a yes or no answer. Either it aligned the hips or it didn't align the hips. And so the pendant uses multiple people meditating on it, and it's usually connected with all the other previous generations of pendants as well. So they're not only charged, they're charged by thousands of people around the world who have added their energy to the pendant.
Okay, that's amazing. So the energy is not just contained within the crystal, it's contained in the whole unit of the pendant, I guess you could say.
And the good news is we're finally, we had a manufacturer doing a terrible job. We rejected them. We're finally going to get a new batch of pendants, probably in 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if they'll be in stock by then, but we're going to have access to them in 2 or 3 weeks from now. So we'll have them in the store as soon as we can. So we're very excited because these are going to be the best pendants we've ever made in terms of the workmanship and the quality.
Amazing. So I'll also put a link to the pendant page on the website. I'll put that in the description below. So for anybody who's just learning about the pendants through this video, then they can find out what exactly we're talking about here. Yes. So that's great. Thank you so much. And thank you also to Maggie for her question. The next question, this one goes deep. So another question through Instagram from Anna Gabriella. And she says, "Richard, thank you for this space-time opportunity. My question, this new knowledge of the real nature of matter, can it help us to heal unbalanced societies, societal conflicts and wars, destruction of nature, and the killing of other species?" So that's quite a big question. I think I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about that.
Yeah, the deeper understanding in my book, The Secret Nature of Matter, we understand ultimately, when we really boil it down, that we're spiritual entities, that we're spiritual beings. And I created a group recently called the Paradigm Initiative. And the Paradigm Initiative is to change the fundamental beliefs of humanity. Right now, science is the modern religion because these men in white robes, white coats, I should say. They tell us what lightning is and why it rains, and these are what the priests would do in the past. Now our priests tell us that everything is going to be explained with math and physics, and we might be simulations, and we're not real people, and there's a lot of really silly ideas floating around about cosmology and about what we really are. And the idea is that in that book, The Secret Nature of Matter, everything points to the fact that we are actually spiritual entities. And when people realize that love has impact, we can study all the alternatives, we can create new kinds of universities, we can demonstrate empirically that our consciousness has an impact. Now, when I'm doing the alignments, I'm not actually aligning the other person. It looks like it, and I say it sometimes because it's shorthand. The more accurate statement is I'm holding a high energy vibration. I'm projecting it to the person's sphenoid bone. Their body and spiritual intelligence does the alignment. I'm not really aligning them, even though I kind of say it sometimes. It's inappropriate and it's inaccurate. But what's really happening is we're understanding that love has impact. Love is valuable. And all the people that hurt you the most in your life made you feel like your love wasn't valuable and your love didn't have impact and it didn't matter. So what we're ultimately doing is we're working on a campaign to do research, to create new kinds of universities, to create a new kind of thinking for the world where there's no potential for war. It's a crazy idea. Why would you want to do that? It's insane. And as I see it right now, there's a few points of hope in the world that most people aren't talking about. One is the energy awareness that love has impact, that love is a real thing in the energy healing. Another one, just like it was important in history to separate church from state, it's vital we separate money from state, because money is control and ultimately slavery if they freeze your bank account. But there is a new hope on the horizon. I don't talk about it often, especially not in quantum touch, but it's Bitcoin. And those who don't understand it need to study it, because it is as important a discovery as we've had in centuries. And I'm also excited, just my personal thing, that we have an alternative to the left and the right in Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's the first politician I've been excited about in 60 years. So this is a real opportunity to change the course of everything. So it's kind of a broader answer, but it's a very broad question. So these are the 3 points of hope I really think could change the world. And if you want to join our campaign for the Paradigm Initiative, you can email us at paradigmyes@gmail.com. We'll put you on the list, and we have so many, we got over 120 people already excited about this project, and everybody's contribution is valuable. And this is what I choose to do for the next 10, 20, 40 years, whatever I can, to do everything possible to see that the paradigm shifts. Because when it shifts, we're in a different world. Nothing changes the world faster or more profoundly than a belief. And the biggest belief is the assumption or the paradigm, because beliefs determine attitudes, attitudes determine thoughts and feelings determine all the choices and decisions. So if you want to change the course of history, you need to change the decisions. But in order to do that, you need to first change the beliefs. And that's why we're doing this Paradigm Initiative. And so that was a big question. I'm sorry we're going so many places, but that's how I feel about it.
Great. Thank you so much. Great answer. And thank you to Anna Gabriella for her question. And we're going to fit in one more in this video. It came through on YouTube from a man named Johan. And it was related to the Spontaneous Postural Alignment videos. So he says, great. Can anyone explain in a few sentences how this is done in just a few seconds? I assume a core breath is done, inhaling normally and slowing down the exhale while focusing on the pineal gland, then visualize in the third eye or pineal gland, the sphenoid bone to be aligned. Is that it? Is that it? The whole world needs to learn this. Thanks for the info. So maybe
Yes.
you can clear up that process
Yeah.
and how it goes, so you can do it so quickly.
Yeah. Basically, there is some therapeutic value in aligning the sphenoid bone, but the big story is that it's possible. That's the real big story, because it would change all the sciences. The way I do it, I'm using a combination of level 1 and level 2 quantum touch. Take the workshops if you can, but essentially in shorthand, I'm moving awareness through my body. I'm linking it to my breathing. I'm not paying any attention to the pineal or pituitary glands. What I'm doing is I'm projecting energy from my heart chakra, which is part of the spiritual anatomy we're working with. I focus on the sphenoid bone behind the nose and eyes, and then I give it a little microturn, and it's done. Now, I'm not aligning it. The body's doing the alignment. I say it sometimes, it's inappropriate, but that's how it's done. It's the level 1 quantum touch is working with the energy through the body, linking breathing, body awareness. The level 2, how we can actually amplify the energy from the heart chakra. Once I'm there, just to the sphenoid, give it a turn, it's done. Now, you're very close, but it didn't really have to be that complicated.
And just to clarify, so you do it very quickly in the videos that you've posted. Is that something that everybody could do? Does it take a long time to become that proficient?
That's a good
How does
question.
that part work? Because it's really remarkable.
Well, I think when I first learned level 2, I would spend 6 or 7 seconds doing it. And then I got a little better at it. And then I learned this crazy shorthand technique where in one of my experiments in The Secret Nature of Matter, I meditated on like a 10-year-old girl's finger as if it was the sphenoid bone. And when she touched people, she could align them instantly. So then one day I meditated on my own finger and thought, well, let me see if I can do it this way. And then I would touch people with my finger and align them. And that was too easy. So then I thought, well, I can just think about their sphenoid bone, wave my finger and say boing, and align them. So it's gotten down to the point of ridiculousness and silliness. And by the way, boing was just for my own entertainment, but it also had a value because it was the moment I'm making a decision. And I'm saying, it's like ding, like I'm doing it now. And that was the point of the boing. It isn't just to have entertainment, but it was like decision. So that's how quickly it can be done. But for the sake of the videos, I thought I'd slow it down, look like I'm working a little bit for a couple seconds, do it like 3 times in a row, and just make sure I've done well so that it registers. But this is a big deal, not because of the therapeutic value. Yes, there is, as ChatGPT, there's like 8 reasons it's good for the sphenoid, and I mean for the occiput, and 8 reasons it's good for the hips. But only about 1 out of 8 or 10 people will even feel it if I do it for them. The real story is it changes our belief in reality. That is where the big story is about the alignment. I talk about it way too much. 98% of quantum touch is bringing down pain, inflammation, accelerating the healing process, and all that kind of good stuff. And by the way, if anybody's interested in this work, I highly encourage you to actually take the workshops. My information is in the book, but the book is kind of like a backup to the workshop, because when you take the workshop, you actually get the experience of doing it, and you get your questions answered, and you feel the work yourself. And the book is kind of like the text for the workshop. So that's kind of another long answer, but I think that helps.
That's great. I would also attest to the fact that the workshops are amazing. I'm a certified quantum touch practitioner, and the workshops really bring the work and the techniques to life. I had the book before I took the workshops, but the workshops are really, if you really want to learn the technique and be guided through the learning of it, then the workshops are the place to go. I will also put the information for the workshops in the description below. For anybody interested, it's quantumtouch.com is the website. And that concludes our questions for today. So for anybody who has new questions, I'll put the info in how to ask in the description below. And we're looking forward to answering more questions. It can be about quantum touch. It can be about spontaneous postural alignment, but it can also be about all these bigger ideas of the nature of reality and what this work means about who we are and what we can do, and what it means for the future. So I get the sense you're open to any question in that domain, which is great.
Yeah. These are good ones. Thank you, Renee. I really appreciate it so much.
Okay, you're welcome. And I will see you next time. Thank you, Richard.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.